Freddy Fazbear. Freddy is the mascot face of the series and the lead singer of the pizzeria's band. In the daytime setting, he is presented as a friendly bear animatronic designed to entertain children with songs and movements. At night, his behavior shifts dramatically. In the first game, Freddy becomes active only in later nights, typically starting around night 3. This delayed activation is significant. By the time he begins moving, the player is already juggling multiple threats, making his sudden inclusion devastating. Freddy prefers the right side of the building, moving in shadows where cameras often show only his glowing eyes. His approach is difficult to track because he avoids brightly lit rooms, slipping into blind spots. His primary signal is the Toreador March tune, a distorted melody that plays when he is very close to entering the office. Once the music starts, the reaction window is almost gone. Mechanically, Freddy is a test of power management. He exploits blackouts by instantly entering the office when power drains to 0, making his design directly tied to resource discipline. In the lore, Freddy is haunted by the ghost of a murdered child, commonly interpreted as Gabriel from community readings of minigames in FNAF 3. This possession reframes Freddy's relentless pursuit as an act of vengeance against adults. He misidentifies as his killer. Freddy's later forms evolve the same core threat. Toy Freddy in FNAF 2 uses facial recognition that can be fooled by the Freddy mask if applied instantly. Withered. Freddy is a battered older model that still pushes forward, emphasizing persistence even when physically degraded. Nightmare. Freddy in FNAF 4 changes the mechanic. Small freckles accumulate on the bed behind the player, and if they are not cleared with flashlight checks, they merge into Nightmare Freddy himself. Glamrock Freddy in Security Breach inverts his role completely. He aids the player, allowing Gregory to hide in his chest cavity and move safely through the mall. Yet, even here, his design emphasizes limited battery and routing, so he still enforces resource management. Freddy is the series' anchor, the symbol of childhood innocence twisted into relentless pursuit. Bonnie the Bunny. Bonnie is the Purple Rabbit guitarist in the Fazbear band. By day, he strums an electric guitar, completing the child-friendly stage act. At night, Bonnie becomes one of the most aggressive animatronics in the original game. He usually activates first, moving along the left side of the building from dining area to backstage to hallway, and finally into the office blind spot. Unlike Freddy, Bonnie provides almost no audio cues, so his presence at the left doorway is silent and sudden. The only safe method is strict, repeated door light checks. Many players, and even FNAF creator Scott Cawthon himself, have said that Bonnie is the scariest animatronic to test against, because of his habit of silently filling the doorway with his staring eyes and wide grin. Bonnie is linked to the missing children incident as well, with fan theories pointing to the child spirit Jeremy inhabiting him. His aggression is interpreted as Jeremy's vengeance against the man he believes killed him. Bonnie's variants across the series reinforce his role as the left lane enforcer. Toy Bonnie is a bright blue redesign with plastic features. He approaches through air vents and frontal paths, forcing immediate use of the Freddy mask to survive. Withered Bonnie is one of the most terrifying visuals in the franchise. His entire face and left arm are missing, exposing endoskeleton and wiring. Despite severe physical damage, his aggression is unchanged, showing that appearance does not limit lethality. Nightmare Bonnie in FNAF 4 removes cameras entirely. Players must listen for breathing at the left door and only open when safe, creating a pure audio reaction test. In the Security Breach era, Bonnie is absent but referenced, with Glamrock Bonnie's removal providing environmental lore. Bonnie always represents unpredictability and early pressure, teaching players to maintain a reflexive left door loop throughout every night. Chica the Chicken. Chica is the bright yellow chicken animatronic with a bib that says, "Let's eat." She sings and dances on stage during the day, but transforms into a hunting threat after hours. In FNAF 1, she patrols the right side of the building, moving through restrooms and hallways toward the office. She is strongly associated with the kitchen. When she enters, the camera feed cuts out, leaving only clattering dish sounds as an audio cue. Her office entry comes from the right blind spot, making the door light critical. Chica's design features include an oversized beak that opens unnaturally wide, exposing rows of metal teeth. The stiffness of her movements, caused by outdated servos, gives her a jerky, uncanny rhythm that unsettles players. Chica's possession links her to one of the missing children, fueling her aggression. In gameplay, she enforces right-lane blind spot checks. Her variants extend this same theme. Toy Chica looks cuter, but becomes horrifying when she removes her eyes and beak during attacks, symbolizing the collapse of innocence. Withered Chica has a broken jaw locked open, which alters her pathfinding but makes encounters more grotesque. Phantom Chica appears in FNAF 3, disrupting vision and forcing reboots rather than killing outright, creating windows for Springtrap to advance. Nightmare Chica in FNAF 4 introduces cupcake mechanics, adding auxiliary threats alongside door listening. Rockstar Chica and Glamrock Chica continue her legacy. Glamrock Chica in particular stalks Gregory through the pizzaplex, with her garbage-eating habit providing noisy tells of her location. Across every appearance, Chica embodies corrupted innocence. The cheerful mascot now roams with predatory intent, punishing players who neglect their right-side loop. Foxy the Pirate. Foxy is unique among the original four because he begins the night behind a curtain in Pirate Cove rather than on stage. His behavior is tied to the player's monitoring habits. If Pirate Cove is checked regularly but not excessively, Foxy stays put. If ignored too long, or paradoxically, if overchecked too often, Foxy will advance stages, peel back the curtain, and ultimately sprint full speed down the hallway. His attack is different from all others. He charges, and if the left door is not closed before he arrives, the jump scare is instantaneous. Even if blocked, Foxy drains a significant amount of power by slamming into the door, creating a resource penalty. This makes him a punishment for both neglect and overmanagement. Visually, Foxy is the most damage of the originals. His fur is torn, his endoskeleton is heavily exposed, and his voice box sometimes produces garbled pirate lines. He was declared out of order in lore due to scaring children and malfunctioning. Community consensus often assigns the spirit Fritz to Foxy, explaining his frantic, glitchy aggression. Variants keep the theme of speed and punishment. Mangle in FNAF 2 is Toy Foxy dismantled into a twisted, ceiling-crawling figure. Her radio static warns of her presence, and once in the office, the only survival tactic is mask discipline. Withered Foxy requires flashlight stuns in the hallway, forcing players to conserve limited light battery. Nightmare Foxy in FNAF 4 takes over the closet, requiring constant checks and resets to prevent him from fully forming. Foxy's role across the series is constant. He is the sprint mechanic in the power tax, designed to break any player who neglects steady, measured monitoring. Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy is the most mysterious of the core animatronics. He looks like a yellow-gold version of Freddy with a black hat and bow tie, but he does not move along hallways or use doors. Instead, Golden Freddy appears by event triggers. A poster swap, a sudden slumped body in the office, or an instant full-screen jump scare with the words, "It's me," flashing. He operates outside the physical rules of the game, almost like a ghost. The only defense is to raise the monitor quickly. Failing to do so crashes the game. Golden Freddy's existence breaks the boundaries between the game's world and the interface, making him a meta threat. Lore connects Golden Freddy to the missing children incident as well, with strong theories identifying the spirit Cassidy as his host. Cassidy is considered one of the most powerful and vengeful spirits in the series, which would explain Golden Freddy's unique abilities. Golden Freddy appears in FNAF 2 as a full slumped suit and plays a large symbolic role in Ultimate Custom Night, where many fans believe he imprisons William Afton in endless torment. He is also connected to Fredbear's Family Diner, the predecessor to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and possibly tied to the infamous Bite of '83. Golden Freddy is not just another animatronic. He is a supernatural anomaly who distorts rules and serves as one of the clearest reminders that the series' horror is not limited to machines, but extends to spirits capable of warping reality itself. Springtrap. Springtrap is the ruined, decaying version of Spring Bonnie, with the corpse of William Afton, the series' human murderer, trapped inside. Spring Bonnie suits use spring lock mechanisms to shift between animatronic and wearable costume. These locks were unstable. Moisture or sudden movement could trigger failure, causing metal parts to snap back into place violently. Afton, pursued by the spirits of his victims, hid inside a spring Bonnie suit. The locks failed, crushing him inside the costume. His rotting body remained in the suit for years until it was rediscovered, becoming Springtrap. Unlike other animatronics possessed by children, Springtrap is driven by Afton himself, making him both murderer and victim. In FNAF 3, Springtrap is the only animatronic capable of killing. The others, phantom variants of Freddy, Chica, Foxy, Balloon Boy, and the Puppet, only cause distractions and system crashes. Surviving Springtrap requires using audio lures to guide him away and sealing vents to block shortcuts. Mismanaging the reboots of audio, camera, or ventilation systems creates openings for him to strike. His later forms include Scrap Trap in FNAF 6, a further decayed version, and Glitch Trap in Help Wanted, where Afton's consciousness has migrated into digital code, proving his evil adapts to any host medium. Springtrap is the embodiment of evil that will not die, showing that when animatronic shells break, Afton's will simply finds another vessel. The Marionette, the Puppet. The Marionette is a tall, slender figure with a white mask, black streaked tears, and a black body with striped arms and legs. In FNAF 2, its gameplay mechanic is tied to the music box. If the box is not wound consistently, the puppet emerges and attacks without fail. This makes it unique. It cannot be stopped by doors or masks, only by time management. Mechanically, the puppet forces players to divert attention from hallways and vents to the prize corner, creating constant tension. The lore reveals that the puppet is possessed by Charlotte, Charlie Emily, daughter of Henry Emily, co-founder of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Charlie was murdered outside the restaurant by William Afton, and her soul inhabited the puppet. Afterward, the puppet gave life to the other animatronics by placing the spirits of murdered children into them, effectively making it their protector. In FNAF 3, a phantom version of the puppet appears, blinding the player but not killing. In FNAF 6, the puppet is contained within Lefty, a black bear animatronic built specifically to trap it. Lore-wise, the puppet is one of the most important figures, as it explains why the animatronics are haunted in the first place. In gameplay terms, it represents the non-negotiable timer mechanic. You must manage the music box, or nothing else matters. Circus Baby. Circus Baby was introduced in Sister Location as the central animatronic of Circus Baby's entertainment and rentals. She has a bright, cheerful design, with red pigtails, green eyes, and a clown-like outfit. But hidden inside is a giant claw mechanism meant to capture children. The most tragic part of her story is linked to Elizabeth Afton, William Afton's daughter. Despite being warned not to interact with Circus Baby, Elizabeth was killed when the claw activated, and her spirit became trapped within the animatronic. Unlike most animatronics, Circus Baby is highly intelligent. She speaks directly to the player, manipulates them with seemingly helpful instructions, and conceals her true motives. She uses deception to secure her freedom from the facility. Circus Baby later becomes part of Enard, a fused animatronic created from Baby, Ballora, Funtime Freddy, and Funtime Foxy. Enard seeks to disguise itself using human skin. Eventually, Baby is expelled from Enard due to mistrust and reemerges as Scrap Baby in FNAF 6. Scrap Baby is severely damaged, with a massive external claw as her weapon. She appears in salvage encounters, advancing slowly as the player tries to record her behavior. Baby's arc demonstrates that animatronics are not just vessels for wandering spirits. They can strategize, deceive, and pursue their own long-term goals. She is both victim and manipulator, combining Elizabeth's trapped soul with William's original intent to build machines that lure and kill children. There's always more hidden beneath the surface, so don't stop here. Click the next video on your screen to uncover even more details you might have missed.